floor exercises. Does the sound of having to do your pelvic floor exercises fill you with fear and trepidation? Well, I'm hoping that this video will give you a little bit of peace of mind and something to work on to help you access those very difficult muscles to exercise. I'm Gillian McCabe and I am a pelvic floor physiotherapist, and I'm here to help you. If you need to settle down with a cup of tea, you can pause the video now. It's going to take a little while, but we're going to get you working that pelvic floor perfectly. First of all, pelvic floor muscles are underneath the pelvis. They are literally the floor to your pelvis. They form a sling of muscle from the pubic bone to the tailbone and from one seat bone to the other. If you're sat on a chair right now, pop your hands underneath your seat bones and just imagine the space between one seat bone and the other. That fills your pelvic floor. If you then sit up nice and tall and you roll forwards onto your pubic bone and then roll backwards onto your tailbone into a slumped paw posture, you've then drawn a line from front to back through your pelvic floor. You can imagine this as a diamond shape, going from pubic bone out to either seat bone and then back into the tailbone. That's where you want to feel the movement. The perineal body is the prime mover for the pelvic floor. If you place your finger with self-examination to the area just behind the vaginal entrance and just in front of your back passage, you'll find a fibrous area of your pelvic floor. If you then squeeze your muscles, you should feel that area of your body lift away from your finger. If it pushes down towards your finger, it's likely that you're doing a Valsalva movement, which is a bearing down, and it's the opposite movement to what you should be doing. Let's make it easier for you. Lie down on your back with your knees bent. Make yourself as comfortable as you can. Pause this video if you need to get into this position. In this position, we've taken gravity and body weight out of the equation, and it should make it easier for you to squeeze your pelvic floor muscles. With you lying on your back, I want you to place your fingers onto your pubic bone. This is the very front part of your pelvis. With your fingers on your pubic bone, I now want you to imagine that on that pubic bone, you have a glass of water. I want you to move your pelvis so that that glass of water becomes level. Imagine that glass of water is a spirit level. You want that bubble to be right in the middle of your spirit level. Try and keep that position and then follow these instructions. I'd like you to squeeze at the back part of your pelvic floor. This is around your back passage. Imagine that you're about to pass wind and you want to stop yourself. Squeeze around your back passage as if you're stopping the wind from escaping, and feel the back passage tighten and lift up inside of you. I want you then to pull the back passage forwards towards your pubic bone. This will give you a lifting sensation in a forwards direction. As you reach that forwards direction, it should feel as if you're trying to stop yourself from having a wee. Let's try another visual. Just relax your pelvic floor and take a nice deep breath. I want you now to imagine that you've got a marble or a Malteser in your vaginal entrance. As you squeeze your pelvic floor, I want you to pull that marble or Malteser up inside of you towards the top of your vagina where your cervix is. Pull as hard as you can and then release. And as you release, I want you to feel as if you're dropping that marble or Malteser onto the bed underneath you. Let's try that again. You're going to squeeze hold of the marble, pull the marble up inside of you, and then drop it and release it. The movement should feel like a squeezing. It should feel like a lifting, and it should feel like a pulling forwards. These aren't easy movements to feel down below, so if you want to, use your thumb or your finger and gently place it inside of your vaginal entrance. Try the technique again and see with your finger or your thumb what kind of movement you're feeling. Ideally, you want to feel as if your pelvic floor is squeezing hold of your finger or your thumb, and if your muscles are strong enough, you should feel that finger or thumb being pulled up inside of you, elevating through the vaginal entrance towards the front of your pelvis. Now, as you release your pelvic floor, you should feel that pressure release around the thumb or the finger, and that dropping sensation, allowing the thumb or finger to drop back down to its original position. Pause this video and have a go at that technique. Once you feel like you've got this technique, we can then start working on the different parts of your muscles. Within your pelvic floor, you've got slow fibre muscles and fast fibre muscles. The slow fibre muscles help you to hold on. So imagine you're in a queue waiting to go to the toilet and you're feeling desperate. Those slow muscles will be the muscles that you'll be using to hold on to the urine to avoid leakage before you get to the toilet. The other type of muscle are fast fibre muscles. These muscles will help you with coughing, sneezing, and any sort of impact. Anything that would cause a sudden downwards pressure onto that pelvic floor region. Let's try these exercises out. What I'd like you to do with this pelvic floor program is to lie down onto the floor or the sofa or the bed with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. This is called the crook lying position. I'd like you to use this position in the first instance while we just ascertain how your pelvic floor is, what it can do, and whether it struggles. We're going to start off with a 5-second hold. I'd like you to take a breath in, and as you breathe out, you're going to squeeze your pelvic floor muscles and hold on to this squeeze for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then release. Did you feel that squeeze? Did you feel the hold? Was it letting go before you were ready to finish, or could you feel a good release at the end of the 5 seconds? This is a good starting point for finding out what your pelvic floor can do. If you're not sure what you're feeling, you can insert a finger or a thumb, like we talked about earlier, to find out what kind of movement you've got and whether you can hold it. If you're letting go too early, have a practice of topping up when you feel the muscles letting go. Don't let them let go. Wait and hold and top it up until you get to the end of that 5 seconds, and then release. If you can't do this and 5 seconds just seems too much, reduce your hold time to 3 seconds. If 5 seconds on the other hand feels very simple and easy and not too much of a challenge, then you can increase your hold time. Why not go up to 7 or 8 or even 10 seconds and see how you go? Practice a few of these until the muscles feel tired. This can be your slow hold exercise. You could complete this 2 or 3 times a day in this lying down position. Now let's try the faster squeezes. These faster squeezes are quite a challenge, especially when you try to coordinate your breathing. We'll talk about breath coordination at a later date. It's important with the fast squeezes that you not only squeeze, but you release fully. It's all about the range of movement. If you don't release fully, the fast squeezes basically become like a hold, where you don't let go enough to give you enough energy to squeeze again. And over the period of time when you're repeating your fast squeezes, the power slowly reduces and the pelvic floor effectiveness reduces with it as well. Let's try. Come into that lying down position again, lying on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. Take a breath to start, and as you exhale, squeeze tight as you can and then release. Squeeze and then release. Squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. Let's stop there for a moment and just think of how we've done. Did you feel the squeeze each time that I said squeeze? Did you feel the release each time I said release? If not, it may well be that you're not able to do fast exercises at the moment. These are very challenging movements, and sometimes if you try to do them too fast or too soon in your rehabilitation program, it'll all go to pot. If you did feel the squeeze and the release, make sure that the release is full. Again, you can insert your finger or your thumb to find out what's going on in that pelvic floor region. If you're feeling a good squeeze and release, and it doesn't feel like too much of a challenge, why not try increasing your repetitions to 10 and seeing how you go there? If the fast ones were more challenging, and you found that you could do 2 or 3, but then you lost your coordination, just do 2 or 3, then have a breather, and then repeat that again, and keep going until those muscles get tired. The combination of fast and slow exercises are really important as part of a pelvic floor training program. First of all, you need to make sure that your squeeze technique is good. Then you need to make sure that you can fully release your pelvic floor muscles. Once you can do the squeeze and the release, then you can work on your hold time. Once you're happy with your hold time, then you can work on your fast squeezes. The fast squeezes may well start at a slower pace than you were expecting, but we can gradually increase that pace over time as your power and your strength and your coordination improves. Why not have a go now at setting up a program using the Squeezy app? You can download the Squeezy app from your phone or your tablet or on your computer. Downloading it on a phone or a tablet, any sort of mobile device is best because you'll be taking that with you, and the Squeezy app can take you through your reminders, keeping you in a routine and showing you what to do. Download the Squeezy app today for $2.99 and find your perfect program. Try the exercises out for 2 to 3 weeks and see if your coordination and your technique and your confidence improves. If it does, we can progress. If not, we need to look at your technique. I wish you all the best with your pelvic floor initial training. See how you get on, and do let me know if you come across any difficulties. You can email me info@gillianmccabe.co.uk at any time of day or night.